Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA here on the ETB Network. Happy you're joining us on this Monday afternoon. I'm Will Charlton. It has been a very, very busy week in college basketball. Now that college football is over, so college basketball will be the main topic of conversation in today's episode. But before we get into it, make sure you watch all of our Empty the Bench shows at youtube.com/ETB Network, and make sure to follow us across all social media platforms at ETB Network on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. And also make sure to follow my show that I'm on, Forever Power 5, at FP5ETB on Twitter and Instagram, and at Forever Power 5, no caps and spaces, on TikTok. Although we are the college football season's over now, so if you want to rewatch any episodes that we did, or the most recent one that recapped the national championship and the rest of the whole entire season as a whole, make sure to go watch that last episode I did with Nick DiMartino and Zambando. But now it's officially college basketball's time to shine. And I'll tell you what, there was some just unbelievable performances from freshmen in college basketball this past week. You know, when you think about this freshman class, it is seriously one of the most impressive things we have seen in a long time, because these freshmen are taking over the sport. Like, on Saturday alone, Keaton Wagler for Illinois, 46 points in a road win for the Illini without Kylan Boswell at Purdue. I definitely want to break that down a lot, because you can see the background. Like, I'm an Illinois alum, as most of you know by now from watching the show, and Keaton Wagler, just unbelievable. I want to make sure I get the correct stats up here too. But Kingston Flemings, he scored 42 points, even though Houston lost. 19-year-old for Houston, Kingston Flemings, true freshman. He dropped 42 in a 90-86 loss at Texas Tech for Houston. AJ DeBonsa, I believe he had 40, right? Was it 40? Yeah, 43. So AJ DeBonsa had 43. He's the consensus best freshman in the country, probably going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft this coming year. AJ DeBonsa has 43 in a home game against Utah. And obviously, it's not the more impressive, team to have that against, compared to like at Purdue on the road, or Houston or Texas Tech on the road. Utah at home, still a phenomenal game though. And then Cameron Boozer too. I mean, Cameron Boozer for Duke is having just an unbelievable season too. He had 32 and 9 rebounds in that win over Wake Forest for the Blue Devils on Saturday. So just this freshman class it was expected to be a really good one. But when you have a guy like Keaton Wagler, for instance, from Illinois, who was ranked by 24/7 as the 150th best prospect in his class for this year, doing this, like, it just shows how incredible this freshman class really is. And if you watch this Illinois-Purdue game on Saturday, you'll know what I'm talking about, because Keaton Wagler, he went 9 of 11 from 3, 13 of 17 from the field. I mean, he only attempted 17 shots. Only attempted 17 shots and finished with 46 points. He was 11 of 13 from the free throw line, which obviously had a big impact on that as well. But Keaton Wagler, he has been Illinois' leading scorer this year. And he kind of emerged out of nowhere, like, Mr. Basketball in Kansas last year, mind-boggling how he had such little respect from major programs. Illinois and Minnesota were the only 2 high major programs that offered this kid. Okay? He had offers from like Drake, Colorado State, St. Louis, a handful of other like smaller schools. But then Illinois kind of stumbles upon him by accident from assistant coach Tyler Underwood. And Tyler Underwood's Brad Underwood's son. And Tyler was like, hey, I saw this kid play, and he kind of turned heads a little bit. And so Brad really liked him just based off film, and decided to offer the kid. And over the summer, like, they thought that there could be something there. Like, they realized that this kid could be, something to write home about a little bit. And then all of a sudden, here he is in one of the toughest, if not the toughest road environment in the country, mind you. going 13 of 17 from the field with 46 points and hitting 9 3-pointers. Some stats for you guys about this too. Keaton Wagler's 46 is the most points ever scored by a visiting player at Mackey Arena, which is Purdue's home arena. He set the Illinois freshman scoring record. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was also the most points ever scored by a Big Ten freshman. Let's see. I want to make sure I get all these right because, I mean, this is just, it is just unreal what this kid did. I mean, it is just like, it is unbelievable. I mean, just to really even kind of think that a freshman could do this at Mackey Arena is something that is just so hard to wrap your mind around because also he had his true shooting percentage was like over 101%. I mean, you can't make that up. You cannot make that up. And because of that, Keaton Wagler was named the Big Ten Player and Freshman of the Week, obviously. Just an unbelievable performance. I had these stats up, and now I'm losing them. But, you know, the most important thing is that, he scored the most points ever from a visiting player at Mackey Arena and also dropped the most points that freshman has ever scored for Illinois basketball all time. And when Illinois doesn't have the heart and soul of their team in Kylan Boswell, who would have locked down Braden Smith in this game to the best of his ability. Braden Smith still had a phenomenal game. He was incredibly efficient. He played his heart out. I believe he finished with 27 points and 11 assists. It was something like that. But to have that perform, the thing is, if Purdue wins that game, people are talking about Braden Smith's performance. That hasn't even been mentioned once because of how unbelievable Keaton Wagler played. Keaton Wagler scored, I believe, Illinois' first 14 points in the game, too. He scored Illinois' first 14 points and also outscored Illinois, the rest of his team. He had 46. The rest of the team had 42. You can't make it up. And the thing is, when you drop 46, you might think you took damn near 30 field goal attempts. Took 17. He only missed 4 in the entire game. So yeah, it's just a remarkable performance from Keaton Wagler. And I'll tell you what, this Illinois basketball team is certainly one of the teams that is really getting the national recognition I think it deserves, because when you go back to December 13th, I believe, when they lost on the buzzer-beating three-pointer to Nebraska at home, Illinois suffered its third loss and was then sitting at a record of 8-3. The Illini have won 9 straight, including being 7-1 now, or 8-1 in the Big. Regardless, it's. I'm trying to remember what it is. Is it 8? Is it 8-1 or 7-1? I want to make sure I get this right here because I keep forgetting. I know there's 20 conference games. Okay, 8-1. So yeah, Illinois is currently in a 3-way tie for second in the Big Ten on the 9-game win streak, and they are tied with Michigan and Michigan State at 8-1 the conference, 17-3 overall, the highest ranked 17-3 team in the country now, number 9. We'll get into the AP poll here in a little bit. But yeah, so Illinois has won 9 straight games going back to the buzzer beater 3-pointer loss at home to Nebraska. They'll have a chance to avenge that loss on Sunday when they go to Lincoln to play the undefeated Cornhuskers, who have a major test tomorrow night. We'll get into that when I preview some games to watch this week. But yeah, just Keaton Wagler. Illinois has a star again. And, when you go back to last year with like Kasper Siakachonis, for instance, kind of being the guy, so to say, he was a little too unreliable at times for Illinois to really kind of rely on him to be that guy to carry them far into March. And obviously they only made it to the round of 32. But this team with the 2 7-footers and the Ivisic twins, Davin Mirkovic being who he is too, what he can do. Andrei Stojakovic being the pure scorer he is. He had a down game against Purdue, but it didn't even matter. I mean, he dropped 30 earlier in the week against Maryland and only, I think, finished with 9 in the game against Purdue. So Illinois has its guy. Keaton Wagler is the guy for Illinois. And this Illini team can definitely spring itself into that is getting really close, but not already there, to that elite tier in the country. And I think there's only like 8 to 10 teams that I can sit here right now and say this team has a chance to win the national championship, win 6 games in a row in March and early April. And it just, when you think about what Illinois has done in the past, they made that Elite 8 run with Terrence Shannon Jr. a couple of years back. They ran into that just juggernaut of a UConn team in the Elite 8, but that was a team that definitely had potential to go to a Final Four, without a doubt. This team is better. Like, I'm sitting here right now and I'm saying that this team this year for Illinois is better than that team that had Terrence Shannon Jr., just because there's so much to this team this year. And obviously, I mean, you still got your amazing teams like Arizona, who has Koa Pete. We haven't even talked about Koa Pete. He's one of the best freshmen in the country too. And Arizona plays tonight against BYU. That is going to be a phenomenal game. 9 Eastern on ESPN, on the road at BYU. So that's going to be a big test in the Big 12 right now. And yeah, I mean, this freshman class is dominating college basketball this season. I mean, the player of the year is going to be a freshman. The All-American team may have 3 to 4 freshmen on it. And like, a lot of these freshmen you see right now could be getting good minutes in the NBA next year. A lot of them are going to be lottery picks. And Keaton Wagler is one of these kids who has just emerged into a certain lottery pick. And we'll see if he can continue what he's doing, but he has shown just unbelievable moxie for a freshman that was barely even got attention nationally coming into this year. Like, no one even wanted to give this kid a chance besides Illinois, and it is certainly paying off. I mean, he came into Champaign like 160 pounds, something like that. So he was really skinny. Now he's at like 190, 195 pounds as the 6'6" guard that he is. And he's put on 30 pounds of muscle since he got to Champaign, which is really impressive. And yet Keaton Wagler, I mean, Illinois needed a star. They have a star now. I mean, Illinois, like, the reason Illinois wasn't among that tier early on in the year is because they had a real solid team. They hadn't had a star yet. The star hadn't emerged for them yet. Now they have a star. Keaton Wagler has emerged to become a guy that Illinois can rely on and make big shots. I mean, he made big shot after big shot after big shot in one of the toughest places to play in the country on Saturday. And Illinois gets an 88-82 win over Purdue. But I'll tell you what, like, I think March is going to come down to which freshman shines the biggest, whether it be Koa Pete, whether it be Cam Boozer, whether it be AJ DeBonsa, whether it be Kingston Flemings, whether it be Keaton Wagler. Like, it's going to come down to what freshman shines the brightest. I can't believe I'm saying that, because that is like so rare to say, that March might come down to what freshman shines the brightest. But yeah, I mean, this freshman class is just unbelievable. Like, we didn't even talk about DeBonsa. I mean, DeBonsa has been just unreal for BYU this year. That was to be expected, though. Like, Keaton Wagler doing this, and same deal for Koa Pete too. Like, Koa Pete didn't have like a incredibly noteworthy game against Cincinnati, I believe it was, or West Virginia. They played on Saturday, but he still put up 17 points and 7 rebounds. And Koa Pete has been averaging 14.7 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game. And he has been a guy that Arizona can rely on heavily. That's why he's a big reason why Arizona is 20-0 right now going into this game against BYU tonight. So yeah, I'll tell you what, like, this freshman class is just, it's something special. It's something special to watch. So Let's get into the new AP poll for this week. Like I mentioned, Illinois slides into the top 10. Once again, they're number 9 this week. Arizona received all 60 first place votes, which is not shocking. And Arizona has looked like the best team of the sport. And it also has one of the best wins in the country to this point at UConn, if not the best win in the country. The best win in the country currently either belongs to Arizona or Wisconsin, which is pretty funny to say because Wisconsin beat Michigan on the road. But yeah, UConn's number 2. The Huskies just got by Villanova in a really good game on Saturday at home. They were tested. They were tested big time against Villanova, which is pretty interesting. Kevin Willer's doing a good job with that Villanova program. They might be able to find their way into the tournament this year in a weak Big East this year. Weaker. I won't say it's weak, but it's weaker. If you look at the net ratings, they don't really respect the Big East all too much this year besides UConn. And St. John's, I guess. I mean, St. John's is up there too, but they're not. I think they're on like the 6 or 7 line right now in terms of tournament seeding. And speaking of St. John's, they're number 25. Now, Rick Pitino just won his 900th game as a head coach in his career. And what's even more cool about that is he did it against his son, Richard, who's now the coach at Xavier. So Rick Pitino won his 900th game as a head coach and did it against his son. So that's pretty fun to say. But yeah, UConn number 2, Michigan number 3, Duke number 4, Nebraska number 5. Here's the one that I just can't say I fully understand right now. Gonzaga number 6. Like, look, they're 21-1, I think they're 21-1 if I'm not mistaken. Gonzaga basketball. Let me make sure. Gonzaga. That's not what I want to see. There it is. 21-1, yeah. So Gonzaga's 21-1, undefeated in that West Coast Conference, which this is their last year, and then they're going to the Pac-12 for basketball next year. Gonzaga just barely scraped by Sanford. They've played some close conference games. I don't get why they're number 6. Like, yeah, they're 21-1, sure, but though their one win is against an Alabama team that is like, Alabama's so inconsistent. I mean, they just lost at home to Tennessee this weekend on Saturday night. That's Gonzaga's best win, and the toughest team they faced this year is Michigan. They lost by 40. So I don't get why Gonzaga is number 6. They're not the 6th best team in the country. Gonzaga is not one of those 8 to 10 teams I think can win a national championship at all. Like they're below that tier. I mean, they'll probably get to the second weekend like they always do, but they're not a national title contender, at least right now. So I don't get why they're still so highly ranked. Michigan State 7. That's a team I think is better than Gonzaga. Iowa State at 8. Once again, I think they're better than Gonzaga. Illinois 9. I think they're better than Gonzaga. Houston 10. Same deal. Texas Tech 11. Purdue 12. I think those 6 teams I just listed off, and BYU at 13. I think those 7 teams I just listed off right there would beat Gonzaga on a neutral court. So I don't get the Gonzaga hype. I really don't. When you get down like the 15 to 25 range, that's where I can see those teams being able to be potential losses against Gonzaga. But yeah, I don't get the Gonzaga hype. I really don't. I haven't watched them play a full game this year. I've kind of seen like increments of their games, but I don't see it. I mean, the numbers don't lie either. Like, I mean, I think Ken Pom still does like Gonzaga. Yeah, Ken Pom has them as the 9th best team. But I don't know. I don't really see it. I don't see it. Anywho, so yeah. A 6-loss Florida still at the rankings at 19. I believe they're the only 6-loss team in the poll. Yeah, they got to be. But Ken Pom still really likes Florida at number 11 right now too. And Miami of Ohio, number 24. The Red Hawks just keep finding ways to win games. They only played one game last week where they beat Kent State. So the Red Hawks are just that's a fun story. That's a real fun story. Miami of Ohio, man, that's a real fun story. St. Louis, 21. St. Louis, man, they're gonna be a really pesky team in the tournament. I could see them being like a Drake from last year, where they got a first round win. Because St. Louis, I mean, that is if they don't lose on a buzzer beater to Stanford right now, like St. Louis would have the potential to be undefeated. I guess Miami of Ohio does too, but St. Louis is dominating the A-10 right now, like dominating the Atlantic 10. So St. Louis is a fun team to keep track of right now. They're number 21. And that's really the most significant thing to report. I don't really know why Alabama's still ranked, to be honest. They're 23. They've been a real interesting team as of late. Also, speaking of Alabama, Charles Bediako. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This guy played in the G League. He had NBA G League contracts for the last, I believe it was 2 years. He was in the G League. Now he's playing it for Alabama. What are we doing here? Why? Like, this is seriously one of the stupidest things I think I've ever seen. He got a temporary restraining order to go back and play for Alabama. So we don't even know if this is going to really stick. We have no idea if this is going to stick or not. But Charles Bediako is playing for Alabama once again. It is just the most dumbfounding thing imaginable. Like, this guy had NBA contracts. He had professional basketball contracts. And he's back playing for Alabama. It's frustrating. It's real frustrating. I don't get that. That's a conversation for a whole nother time, though. I don't understand that. So anyway, let's get into some games to watch this week, and I'll make picks for these games I preview. It starts tonight with that Arizona BYU game. Arizona 20-0, BYU, what are they, 19-1? 17-2, yeah, sorry, 17-2. So this will be the toughest game Arizona has played since they went to Connecticut and beat UConn earlier in the year. I think Arizona's proving that it's looking like the best team in the country right now. And I think they're going to have enough talent to be able to win this game on the road tonight. I think it's going to be a very good, closely contested game. And this game means a lot to the Big 12 standings. But I do think Arizona is going to get this job done tonight. I got a feeling that, I got a feeling that it's going to be one of these games that just kind of comes down to the wire in a sense. And Arizona is going to make a few plays down the stretch that are going to put them over the edge. I do think that Arizona is the more talented team. They got kind of a lot more to them. So I'm going to pick Arizona to win this game tonight, but that's at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Also, the early game tonight, I believe, is I just want to get – Duke, Louisville at Duke. I don't really see too many problems for Duke in that one at home. Louisville has not been good against ranked teams this year. Tomorrow night, Nebraska at Michigan. Nebraska at Michigan, 20-0 and 19-1. And for some odd reason, we're putting that game on Peacock. So that's at 7 Eastern. That is going to be a phenomenal game. Michigan and Nebraska. The Cornhuskers keep finding ways to win and win and win this entire year. I think their luck runs out tomorrow night, though. I think Michigan is where they get their first loss. Michigan, I think that Nebraska, it's been an awesome story. The numbers don't love them yet because I don't really know why the numbers don't love them, but when you look at KenPom, they're number 12. Like, they're 20-0, but they're number 12 in KenPom. Like, the numbers just don't really love them yet. So we're going to really find out this week what Nebraska is all about. And it starts tomorrow night in Michigan, but I do think the Wolverines are going to be able to win this game at home. I think Michigan is just a little more too talented in all positions, and there's just a little bit more for Michigan on the entire court when they're playing Nebraska. So even though it's number 5 and number 3, I do like Michigan to win that game on Tuesday night, but that still should be a good one. So that's really the only noteworthy game on Tuesday. Friday night, Michigan State hosts Michigan. So Michigan has two very, very big matchups at this week. And we'll really find out who Michigan is the team this week too. And with how well the Spartans have been playing, it's hard to pick against them, but I think Michigan's going to go on the road and win that game as well. I think Michigan State has the best defense in the country according to KenPom right now, and they're number 4 according to KenPom. But here's the issue: Michigan State's offense can bite in the ass sometimes. And I think that game against Michigan is going to be a game where that happens, because Michigan's got a lot of height. Michigan's got a lot of size. Michigan State is not as big as them. And it's going to come down to how Jeremy Fears plays for Michigan State. So I think Michigan is going to beat Michigan State on Friday night on the road. Michigan is the real deal. They had that slip up against Wisconsin where the Badgers made like 16 threes in the game or something like that. But I think Michigan's going to get 2 massive wins this week, 2 quad 1 wins, and put itself right up there atop of the Big Ten standings. So Michigan State, that is at 8 on Friday night, 8 Eastern. So that'll be a fun one. Then obviously Saturday, I mean, there's all sorts of fun games. Arizona rematches Arizona State. BYU at Kansas, that's a big one. And the first St. Mary's Gonzaga matchup of the year. That's always a fun one too. In terms of ranked matchups, that's really about it. But yeah, I'm gonna pick BYU. Well, it depends on the health of another tremendous freshman for Kansas. I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't know why. Darren Peterson. Yeah, Darren Peterson. Depends on the health of Darren Peterson, but if he's healthy, I do think Kansas can certainly win that game at home. But if he's not, BYU's got a really good shot to win that game too. So that's going to be a fun one. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that Kansas will win, assuming that Peterson will be healthy to play that game. But for anyone to win at Fog Island Fieldhouse is very tough anyway. So I'm gonna pick Kansas to win that game at home. I think Gonzaga will be able to beat St. Mary's at home, and then I expect Arizona to be able to beat Arizona State as well. Sunday we got some really good games too. Alabama goes to Florida, and the last one we'll talk about is Illinois at Nebraska. So I think that let me start with Illinois Nebraska, because Alabama Florida it's a ranked matchup, but it probably shouldn't be. I think Florida's going to win that game at home. Illinois at Nebraska. So Nebraska beat Illinois on December 13th, 14th, whatever it was, on a buzzer-beating, game-winning three-pointer with the game tied at 80. Illinois is playing some of its best basketball it could be right now. I mean, Illinois will more than likely be riding a 10-game win streak into a revenge game on the road, where Illinois has played great so far in the Big Ten. 5-0 in true road games. And Nebraska is phenomenal at home. So it's a team who's been great on the road against a team that's phenomenal at home. Nebraska more than likely, I mean, I won't say more than likely, but probably will be coming off a loss, I'd assume. Like I said, I don't think they're going to beat Michigan tomorrow night. But I think now that Illinois has the recipe, Illinois did not play well against Nebraska at home earlier in the year. They did not play well. So I'm probably biased in saying this, but I think the Illini are going to win that game in Lincoln. I do. The numbers don't really love Nebraska just yet. I think Illinois has the recipe to shut down Price Sanford, who went nuclear against the Illini in Champaign. I think the Illini have the recipe to get the job done in Lincoln this time. And I think the high-powered offense that Illinois has is going to be able to win them that game. And it's going to be a big one for Illinois, which will presumably be on an 11-game win streak after that. So that's going to be a fun one. But as of right now, I'm picking Nebraska to have an 0-2 week. I love this story. I love what they've done. It's been awesome. But I do think their luck runs out this week in these 2 really tough games they got coming up. So that's going to do it for this episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for being here on this Monday afternoon, and we will catch you once again next Monday. Thanks for tuning in.